Ready, go. We live?
Hilarious.
We're live. We're live.
Definitely have to tell the people.
Definitely have to. Guys, we are live. Happy Sunday. And welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live again. I am one of your 4 co-hosts of the day, David, and we are coming at you from our studio here in the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada, with our daily, only on the weekdays, except for today, live shows. Before we get into the content, quick disclaimer, nothing that's said on this channel should be taken as financial advice, so please do your own research. Speaking of content, today we're covering Bitcoin. Will 20K hold? What about Mt.Gox? What about NFTs? There's over $100 million that's been stolen this year alone. And to help us talk about it, I'd like to introduce you to your second co-host of the day, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we are an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information. We package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, here at Sin City Crypto, we don't just do live streams. We also do deep dives and periodically upload videos at random, and you'll never know that they come out unless you have that notification bell checked. One quick favor, if we can get the chat filled up by hitting the like button. And if you're not subscribed, do us a favor.
When are you going to get rid of that stupid thing? It's embarrassing.
It's one of my greatest achievements. Is that like button sign?
No, it's absolutely embarrassing.
And then who else we got up? What order are we going into?
I would like to introduce you to your third co-host, a very special guest, Seth from Mind Your Biz. What's up?
Hola. I think this is the requirement, right? The required greeting is hola, but I've heard on good authority that it's the Portuguese hola. It's not the Spanish hola.
It is.
Correct.
Okay. No H. It's the only difference. Sounds the same.
Okay, well, você precisa aprender other languages.
Okay. That was good. That was good.
We got to get back to Spanish because this is America. Gosh darn it.
Seth, do you mind telling our people a little bit about you, your channel, your background?
Sure. My name is Seth. I run the channel Mind Your Biz. You can find it on YouTube. I do have 2 channels right now, so I am doing kind of a weird thing between a primary channel and a secondary channel. But then on Twitter, it's mindyour_biz. And then on the website, mindyour.biz. They're all meant to be privacy advocacy websites. And then I also do cryptocurrency developer interviews. Been doing that for the better part of 4 years. Was the first to interview the very first Monero developer who, by the way, went public and doxed himself to be on my show and went out of his way to get me to do that. Isn't the first privacy-oriented developer who has doxed for me on my show. Also interview proof of work, hardware developers, and all kinds of people in the industry. This is beyond a passion for me. I did my stint in corporate America, working for the major tech companies like Microsoft, Google, and others. And well, now I don't have to. So I'm here, hanging out in Cryptoville. This is, I think, a better place to be. So.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And now for your 4th co-host of the day, joining us all the way from Debate Crypto, Crypto Keeper himself. What's up?
Hola.
Thank you.
I am excited to be here. I just want to throw out there, we started off a little bit different today, right?
Yes.
We thought we were live, talked for a couple minutes. So chat, thank you for bearing with us.
Yes.
It was a few minutes we thought we were live, yet we were not. So that being said, let's smash those likes. Let's have some fun today. Listen, if you're not already a member of the Debate Crypto family, make sure to check us out. Blockchain Crusader and myself are always working hard for you. We start off the show with question everything, trust nothing. It's your boy, Crypto Keeper and Blockchain Crusader. The reason that we do that is because we take the narrative that is put out in the crypto space and a lot of the political space as well, and we question it. And that's what we want to do. We want to push on the, I guess, give the pushback. So if you're not subscribed to us, make sure you subscribe to us. And then, hey, check out the NFT drop. Just happened, Danger Close Alpha, dangerclosealpha.com.
Yes. Guys, we work really hard to bring a lot of guests on the show for value and entertainment. So all we ask of you as a community is go support them. Go support Mind Your Biz, subscribe to their channel. All the links, and also Crypto Keeper and Debate Crypto, all the links are in the description of this video. So before we get into Bitcoin and content, I want to ask, so the NFT convention was here in Vegas Friday, Saturday, and today's the last day. I want to ask Keeper and Seth how it went. What was your takeaway? Is there anything you would change? What did you love? So I'll send it over to Seth first.
Wow. So first off, cryptocurrency conventions, they're pretty tricky, right? Because you are trying to get a blend of industry professionals, but you're also trying to get new entrants, brand new retail participants. And it's not because we're trying to line up exit liquidity. It's because we are trying to grow the tribe. We're trying to grow the circle. So that can be a really tricky thing to do in a bear market. And I think they did a great job here. Frankly, ran into the showrunners, had a great time spending, both on stage and off stage time with other creators in the space, with other builders in the space, and then getting a chance to talk to folks who were very new. Not as many as I would normally like to, but we're in bear market conditions. So retail just by definition has stopped participating in the same way that it did during the bull market. And so it was a lot more of an industry mixer from in my experience, in my opinion, than it was a massive event for retail. But I really enjoyed it, and I think the showrunners did a phenomenal job. They brought in great talent for after hours. I think we had 2 hours of live music, in addition to a lot of the great stage panels that we saw and the Q&As and keynotes. So I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, this has been a good one.
That's awesome. Now, Keeper, what are your thoughts? Kind of along the same lines.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely had a great time as well. The stage presence was fantastic. The panels, fantastic. See a lot of familiar faces, so a lot of who have become my friends IRL here, which is always fun. But one of the things that I really was excited about was for the people that were here, there was some fresh faces, so fresh that didn't even have a MetaMask or an NFT. And so one gentleman in particular, we helped him set up a MetaMask, dropped the first couple NFTs into his wallet, and he literally told me, he said, I don't know how to thank you without getting emotional. And he was so just utterly thankful that someone was willing to spend the time with him to kind of explain this cryptocurrency and NFT thing. And that's what it's all about. You know, these bear markets are a downtime, but I think we focus too much on it being a bear market when the reality is it should be just a building market. Shout out to Loudmouth. He said that to me the other night, and when it really resonated with me. It's all about building at this time. And if you're building right now, in the future, you're going to be in a lot better position than you are right now. So it was a great time for sure.
That is such a good point. And I've never personally understood why when the bear market comes, people leave the space. People leave YouTube. Viewership goes down. You would figure when everything is down and things crashing, you want to know what's going on. You want to be more alert now than ever. And that is exactly how you should be identifying what projects you should put your money into. You look at who's building to the bear market, what YouTubers are building to the bear market, what projects are building to the bear market. Now, before we get into content, Keeper.
Yep.
One of our community members, Sean, said, why can't you grow a decent beard?
Man, I'm just trying to keep up with Sean. I mean, he leads the way in beard growth. So if
is there
you
a metric for
check
that?
out if you haven't checked out New World Crypto, I think they're starting their YouTube channel soon. He will be teaching you how to grow a great beard. So make sure that you give him a follow.
I think he's literally just starting his beard too.
Yeah. Seth's got a nice beard too, man. You know, I'm mad because like these parts right here, they never fill in. So yeah, I try. I got a little 5 o'clock.
I got the douchey like chin strap thing going on here.
Matches your personality. That's perfect. Now, with that being said, Robin, why don't we dive into the crypto markets and tell us where we are, and then we'll talk about where we're going.
All right, and if you haven't checked your portfolio as of lately, it's probably down, just like Bitcoin is. So Bitcoin is coming in at $20,014.36. We have seen a significant pullback in the crypto landscape, and not only crypto, but also in the legacy finance. Jerome Powell went and had his live stream, not just here in Las Vegas, we're doing live streams, but also Jerome Powell live stream from Jackson Hole, where he discussed the possible interest rate hike and that they were not going to pump the brakes and that they were going to go full speed ahead on getting to about 4% interest rate. Right now, we're sitting between 2.25 and 2.5 is the federal funds rate for interest, which has basically slow down the market or put the brakes.
That's considered, so that range is considered neutral.
Yeah. Well, so we've been making higher highs and higher lows over this like 2-month window here. When we fell off of the 30K mark, we hit as low as 18,000, and we were making a good headwind here. Now we are testing the 20K support line once again. We've been in between about 19,800 and 20,100 in the last day or so here, the last couple days. So I do think that in the early parts of next week is going to be the big moment. Are we going to use 20K as support and just make higher highs moving forward? Or are we going to be, using 20K as resistance and seeing how low this will go? Just know that Bitcoin right now is in a really great buying zone or DCA zone. So I would feel comfortable picking some up. Obviously, we know where Bitcoin is going to go. If this isn't the bottom, it's pretty close to it. So taking a look at the rest of the crypto market real quick, just at a glance, Ethereum under $1,500. Question, guys, do you think this is still a good buying opportunity? Do you think there's a lot of room to grow, a lot of room to rally for Ethereum? We got a major upgrade coming up in just about a month, and we have less than a month,
Less than a month.
Yeah, so in a few weeks.
3.5 weeks.
What are your guys' sentiment on Ethereum? Like, how are you feeling about it? Do you think you want to wait till afterwards, maybe this buy the rumor, sell the news thing? Or do you think it's just going to moonshot because it's going to be green, friendly, and ESG compliant and all that?
Seth, why don't you give us the technical answer here that we're looking for, and then I'll give you just kind of the keeper feelings on it. What you got?
Sure. Here's the technical thing on ESG and compliance and Ethereum. ESG is nonsense, complete and utter horse crap. So, yeah, that's the technical answer. Is that ESG is complete and utter horse crap. And look no further than Sri Lanka. I think actually, Nick, you and I, we did a deep dive on that one night.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ESG narrative is really strong with some people, but sounds like a rumor, Rob. It sounds like a rumor to me. As far as ESG being something that's an important investor narrative and something that people need to invest into. So sounds more like a rumor than real news, because the real news is that Sri Lanka got totally rug pulled by ESG. And so I think when Ethereum does finally launch with that beacon chain merge, we're going to find out kind of maybe where there are hidden rug pulls in the actual roadmap or execution of Ethereum's upgrade. And the Gwirly testnet, mentioned this on Crypto Windio's live stream yesterday. We were all had little cameos on, but the Gwirly testnet of Ethereum kind of struggled with some of the third-party services after they did their simulated merge. So the beacon chain merge that's going to happen on the main net for Ethereum, in my mind, I've lost a lot of confidence in how well they're going to pull it off because of how poorly it was pulled off in testnet. So that's a slightly more technical response there. But
playing devil's advocate, isn't that the point of a testnet, is you figure out what's wrong and then you work on it?
Well, yeah, you should. But here's the thing. When you find out that something is definitely broken, you push back your launch. That's how you make sure that...
Haven't they pushed back enough? I mean, for Christ's sake, it's been 6 years in the running. Now, Seth, before we send it over, Keeper, I have a question. Will security on Ethereum suffer when switching from the current proof of work to the merge and proof of stake?
Man, that's like asking your bouncer, hey, will security suffer when I hire somebody else, right? Like, you do realize that.
Okay.
That's when you talk to a miner about it. It's like, hey, will security suffer when I stop, you got Blackwater, right, on payroll. Like, will security suffer when I go to Rent-A-Cops instead? Yeah, it's going to suffer. It's definitely going to suffer. Proof of stake is provably weaker in a lot of ways, or at least centralized in ways that most people don't understand. And we're going to see how that works from a governance perspective when we start seeing like this OFAC sanctions list, right? The U.S. Treasury sanctioning Tornado Cash. We're going to start seeing them now start to squeeze the validators that are securing Ethereum in the future and saying, look, we want to nip this thing in the bud so much that it's not even possible for transactions to take place on chain. And we're about to find out the hard way, just how much less secure Ethereum is going to be.
You think that's why, and Keeper, you can feel free to jump in on this too, Rob. Do you think that's why institutions have pulled their money out of ETH and placed it on the sideline? Because they're scared? Or
Have they? Or is that just...
No, they have.
Is that rhetoric?
They have.
I think it's rhetoric.
I don't know. I think that we've definitely seen we see this whole market. We actually talked about this on stage yesterday. There's so much, and this is part of what we do at Debate Crypto too. There's so much narrative that gets thrown around to manipulate these markets. I do, however, think that anytime you have a big change happening within a network, I think it's a scary opportunity, and there's going to be people that are going to capitalize on it because it's going to swing their way, and there's going to be the total opposite. There's going to be some people that are going to get hammered. But what I will say that I think is really important is that if you're not just stressing on the every day-to-day price, if you're not in just day trading, if you're in this for the long term, you have to understand that ETH under $1,500 long term, I think, is an opportunity. Again, we're not here to give you financial advice. I'm just telling you that the years ago that I started buying ETH at some really low prices, guess what? As far down as ETH is right now, I am still significantly up. And I think that we're going to continue to see that. So once they get the little kinks worked out, I'm hoping even Seth is maybe even wrong about some of the security issues, although what he's saying is factually correct. I'm hoping that we find out differently, that ETH definitely takes a move to the upside long term. But hey, in the short term, if it doesn't, if it dumps and it dumps with the rest of the market, assuming that it does, oportunidad, right? Opportunity.
And Keeper brings up a really good point. You know, Kathy Wood says this. It's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market.
So
Facts.
And then also taking a look at here, I got the ETH chart just to give you a perspective on where the price is in comparison to where it has been. Remember the FOMO of Ethereum? Everyone was talking about getting into Ethereum when it was over $1,200. As you can see here, right at the beginning of the 2021 is when it started to rally, which is when we kicked off the bull market, or the parabolic rise in the bull market at least. We went from $1,200. It did not look back until 2 months ago. And so this entire time, so from over the last 2 years, essentially, you haven't had an opportunity to buy Ethereum at this level. And yes, it was down to $1,000. And yes, it may go down there again. But you know, when you look at Ethereum and you zoom out and you look at it in the long term, you know, even if you make a good point, ESG is a bunch of bull crap. But
okay, hold on.
It makes legacy finance investors comfortable with investing.
It rubs people's back.
Listen, guys, hold on real quick. Mind Your Biz said it's a bunch of bullcrap. Sure, it's what we think. But that is literally the cornerstone of how hedge funds and VC firms in the traditional market, that is how they figure out who to invest in. If you're not ESG compliant, you have zero shot at getting any funding to fund your company, your project, whatever the case may be. So you guys say that it's BS, and though I agree, I don't think it's something that should be pushed to the side.
No.
So just bow down to a false narrative? Just bow down and just say, hey, you know what? They're going to allow me to have the money.
Who's going to fight BlackRock?
It's
the world's largest asset manager.
It's a shifting goalpost, though. Here's the thing. So I think we're kind of like, we're trying to play devil's advocate. We're trying to be fair, right? Intellectually honest here on the panel. So to kind of get to your side of the table here. Yes, it is something that a lot of the core VC groups that all of tech runs on, that all of tech funding relies on, something the VC groups are saying that they value right now. But what was that narrative 5 years ago? It was not ESG compliance. What was that narrative 10 years ago? ESG was not even a term. It didn't even matter yet. Like, if you want to go ahead and use the Internet Wayback Machine to see if Investopedia had a definition for ESG 10 years ago, like, spoiler alert, they didn't. Nobody cared.
But let me ask
the VCs least of all.
Seth, let me ask you a question. Do you think ESG has given BlackRock power?
Yes, and that's exactly why they're doing it.
Okay,
right?
but okay, now let me ask you this question. Let me follow up with this question, and you can answer. Anyone can answer. Is it not true that when you give power to someone, it's harder to take power back than it is to give power? Yes.
Totally. It power congregates, and so does buying power, right? That's why they're in the position they're in.
But powers change hands, though. As you can see, you can look at nation states, you can look at corporations, you can look at trends. Power swings and moves from one to another. So right now, yes, the ESG is at the forefront of investing, or the cornerstone of what Wall Street would deem as a good investment, because BlackRock backs it. But it's not going to stay there forever. It's not going to be at the top of the hill. So the narrative will change. But you can't discount the fact that it has a high influence. And if you're looking for just sheer liquidity, money in the market investors, it going to proof of stake is definitely going to open the avenues for new investors that traditionally probably wouldn't because of the green narrative, which at the end of the day will be bullish for Ethereum and its price action.
And what are your thoughts on Keeper, on ESG? Whether, I mean, I think we're all in agreement that it's BS.
Yeah.
But it's something that essentially rules the traditional markets. Is that going to creep into the blockchain crypto world? What are your thoughts?
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, we're seeing it happen. Actually, we're just at this convention. I'll roll it back to Bitcoin Miami. Bitcoin Miami this last year was very corporate. I mean, it was very corporate. And I was not at previous Bitcoin conferences, but I was told by every single person that had been to one before, and I know Seth could probably echo this, that it became very, very corporate. And so we're seeing that roll over into the crypto space. It is a fact. However, what is the crypto thesis, if you will? What is the ethos of crypto, right? Be your own bank. And so why do we have to bow down to this narrative when the reality is we know it's a narrative? We're talking about in the environment, right? These same people that are talking about the environment are trying to push a narrative to get rid of fossil fuels. Well, guess what? They use more fossil fuels producing the things that they say that they don't, that they want you to use or don't want you to use to get us there. These lithium batteries that Tesla uses, there's nowhere to put them. What are we going to do? Fire them off to the moon? Like, what are we going to do with them? We don't have an answer for it. So it's a narrative. It is. So it's frustrating because at the end of the day, you do kind of have to play ball, or some of these bigger corporations are going to have to play ball. It's just like our lovely government that we are under right now. But I do think that in time, if enough people say enough's enough, just in general, I think we have an opportunity to make a stand.
Now, forgive me because I forgot which one of you said this. One of you said that when something like this happens, you change a consensus, ETH going from proof of work to proof of stake, that people find opportunity in that, right?
Yeah.
We've seen Justin Sun come out and say that he and Poloniex would support a proof of work fork of Ethereum.
Trash.
And Justin Sun even said they would put up 1 million ETH as liquidity if that does happen. Seth, I want to ask you first. Does ETH proof of work, does a proof of work fork chain on Ethereum, does that have a shot? Or is it going to be just another ETH classic that just lit?
I'm so glad you asked. And, I was on Tokenmetrics channel with Bill Noble, and he asked the same thing. Chandler Guo, who is a notable fixture in the proof of work community in China, has one of the largest proof of work mining operations in the world, has spearheaded exactly such a fork. It's called ETHW. And I mentioned, and this has been my consistent take on this since the beginning, no, this thing is doomed to fail. They're trying to do a chain fork or a full chain state split of Ethereum and make it entirely proof of work. But here's the thing. Ethereum Classic was already the original Ethereum, and it maintained proof of work, and it will maintain proof of work into the future without any kind of roadmap leading towards proof of stake. How well is Ethereum Classic doing by way of developer uptake, by way of community support, by way of even just, TVL?
So why is it still in the top 25?
Ethereum Classic?
Yeah.
Well,
Robinhood.
Yeah.
Robinhood. That's Robinhood. That's the answer. Robinhood.
Probably.
That's a good
but here's the thing. Look at the other key metrics. How many projects are building on it? And the TVL that are captive in that project, or in those projects, how does that stack up? You can be a top 25 coin and not have a whole lot of usage. You can be a top 10 coin and be entirely wash traded. We've seen this in crypto's history, right? So the market cap doesn't tell everything, and top 25 is strictly based on market cap. Market cap doesn't tell you TVL. TVL does tell you participation. And even then, we have to question participation because that can be automated. We live in an entirely code-driven ecosystem, right, with crypto. Yeah. So we know plenty of projects that, there's no morality to it, and these are unregulated markets at that. So they can wash trade with bots 24/7, and regulators can't say a thing. So we're in a really weird market. But where I'm going with all that is to say this proposed ETHW fork of Ethereum, it's already really been hit hard. When it first launched, it had a 50% drop in its price. So I think the market's already speaking to how well that's going to be received. And I think right now, beyond that, it doesn't matter what Justin Sun thinks. It doesn't matter what Poloniex says. And it doesn't matter what any of the exchanges do, especially the exchanges, centralized exchanges. They get paid how? What's their business model? For centralized exchanges.
Depends. You're talking Voyager, who's a DGen, or Coinbase?
No, not lending platform. I'm talking about just centralized exchanges. What's
fees? Trading fees.
Transaction fees.
Fees. Maker taker fee, right? So is it in their best interest to say we won't support that fork, or should they list as many coins as they can?
Yeah.
Good point.
Right. I do want to make a point.
Yeah, what are your
that
thoughts,
here-
Rob?
So here's the thing. What happens when you fork a project and basically just airdrop in the same manner that we had the Ethereum Classic, the same thing with all the Bitcoin chains? When you fork a project like that, you're basically making a carbon copy of it. And my concern here is, with the Ethereum Classic, that was before the launch of smart contracts. So you can't just pick and choose what you're going to fork. And so you're gonna see an Ethereum with all the smart contracts that are currently active, all the NFT, and you're gonna fork that and then somehow have that ecosystem still running with all the smart contracts. You're gonna have two parallels there. So I think the complexity that you're gonna see with a fully functional smart contract driven Ethereum forking off and creating another Ethereum chain that has all of its active smart contracts is just a recipe for disaster. I don't see how it's going to functionally work without market adoption. And if the stable coins don't respect it, because the Ethereum based stable coins, if they don't respect the new chain, it's not going to functionally work either.
Can I
your
just interrupt? I heard Rob say something that I need to hear it again, but more slowly. You said forking off.
Yeah, man. Here in Las Vegas, we do all kinds of forking off. Real quick, I do want to say though, if you guys are new here to the show, even here in the studio, when we reach certain milestones here, when we break new records on our viewership, we do like to open the club here in Las Vegas. We don't just have a badass cryptocurrency television show, but we also do clubs pretty well here. And when
105.
So when we reach 100 viewers in the chat today, we will open up the club
Let's
and have
go.
a Vegas party. So.
Okay. All right. Keeper.
Yes.
Justin's son coming out and saying he will support a fork. He said he will even put up 1 million Ethereum tokens. What's behind this? Is there something behind it? Because they're competitors. Robin's take is he knows exactly what he's doing. He's trying to split that ecosystem up so then Tron can move forward. What are your thoughts on that whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I also, you have to understand in the crypto space right now, and it's been like this for a while, pumponomics, right? Pumpamentals, right? Ultimately, what's happening is someone that is big in the space is trying to sway votes. It's almost like an election where you're coming out, you're telling the people what they want to hear, you're swaying people from one side to the other, and you know that it's going to negatively affect the other side. So yeah, I think that it's something that simple. I think it's as simple as if I put out there, whether I'm going to do it or not, if I put out there that I'm going to put up 1 million Ethereum, which is a massive amount of money, then people are going to take me seriously. They're going to say, this is the real deal. And I think that's what it comes down to. It's showing your strength in front of the camera and just using your name to be able to push markets around.
I definitely think he's trying to sabotage Ethereum because he's getting behind the fork, trying to bring attention to something that doesn't need attention.
Well, trying to split the ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. All right, I want to move on. I want to move backwards to Bitcoin. And I want to take a look at a chart I have pulled up here for Bitcoin. So this is the 1 hour chart on Bitcoin. We can go ahead and pull that up. That's not the chart. This is the chart. So this is a 1 hour chart. We saw, obviously, big moves to the downside after Jerome Powell spoke. Now, I like to keep TA simple. What I have on here is the Bollinger Bands, which essentially measures volatility. And anytime you see these bands constrict and get tighter, we do see a big move to the upside or the downside. Now, before I ask our co-hosts here, I want to bring up the whole Mt.Gox situation. Everyone's saying today's the day Mt.Gox is going to release 137,000 Bitcoin. The market's going to tank. Everyone's freaking out. Well, Eric Wall, who is also a Mt.Gox creditor, said they are not distributing any coins this week or next week or the week after. They haven't even put a repayment system out yet. I want to start with Keeper first. First of all, is this Mt.Gox release thing overblown? Are people just reacting to news, or do you think this is something that can actually tank Bitcoin? And second question, do you think when the Bollinger Bands start to expand, is Bitcoin going to move to the upside or to the downside?
So I'm not your guy to ask on TA. I know enough to be dangerous. So I'm going to tap out on that because I genuinely look at fundamentals much more than I look at technical analysis. The only time I'm looking at TA is when I am, shout out to Crypto Blood, if I'm looking with my blood analytics and doing a little trading. That's when I'm paying attention to TA, and it's just short-term movements for me. But that's overall not how I operate. I'm a long-term hold type of guy. The reality is the Mt.Gox, there's a lot there. There's a lot of money involved in that. Now, the real question becomes, do all of these people at the same time, does it get released? Actually, does it happen that way? And if so, are they so much in the green that they have to take profits or that they should take profits? And I think that we won't really, there's a lot of people, we won't really know because there is a lot of people in the crypto space that have been in for a long, long time. I heard a story the other day about a guy that was into Bitcoin at like $15 or $20 and rode it all the way up to 69,000 and hadn't taken any profits. Most people would say that's absolutely insane. His thought process is, I don't need those funds right now. It's going to $500,000, it's going to $1 million, whatever the case may be. So long term, I'm still winning. I think it's going to depend on what the feeling, the sentiment of people is like that. But it is real. There is a lot of money there. I don't remember what the dollar amount, what the
Vegas party in here.
Oh boy. Oh boy. There we go. We're feeling better.
We keep getting requests. They're like, why does he have a shirt on? And you know what? That's a brilliant question.
Wait, what happened? Oh, shit.
So what happened was, Seth looks like Andrew Tate, and we've been busting his balls a little bit about that recently, right? There you go. This is Andrew Tate on the stream. Hold it tight.
Leave some ladies for the rest of us, Seth. God dang it.
And yeah, he came on Debate Crypto the other night, and I asked him to come on. I said, hey, if you got some sunglasses, that'd be great if you could come on like Andrew Tate. We were talking about censorship, and this man comes on backstage. I about fell out of my chair. He comes on backstage with his shirt off. Andrew Tate always does interviews with his shirt off, so it's definitely a fun time.
It was actually all a secret rug pull, like the entire establishment.
We're going to the pool after this, guys.
Damn, this is definitely going on Twitter. Robin,
What's up?
are people overreacting to this Mt.Gox thing? James from Invest Answers put a chart together that said even if 50% of the $137,000 Bitcoin were to be completely dumped on the market, it would only move the price about 8%. Are people freaking out? Is this buy the rumor, buy the news, or what are we doing here?
Yeah, I think, okay, so there's conflicting reports on when this is actually supposed to be released. There's actually no sign of it actually hitting the market today, as some people are going out and saying. And I do, I'm on one end, I'm like, are they going to release it all at once? Is it going to come out, is it going to stagger itself out?
From my understanding, it's going to be staggered.
Yeah. And who knows what it's actually going to look like. And also they're going off of dollar value from what you had in the original account. So if you only had say $5,000 worth of Bitcoin at the time, they don't give you that exact amount of Bitcoin. They just are crediting you for the dollar value, which would be $5,000. So I do think you're going to see a lot less than what people are expecting. And then on top of that, we are at the bottom of a market. And, is it, if you've held for, 5 years, 6 years? How long is this?
2014.
Yeah.
8 years.
So
8 years. Okay. So 8 years. So if you've been this long without Bitcoin and you've went 8 years in your investment, I don't know if it's really, I don't know if people are going to be FOMOing out of Bitcoin. I mean, at this point, we went 8 years without Bitcoin out, without your Bitcoin. And so now, we're having a Vegas party.
What the hell is going on in the studio right now, Rocco? What?
It's 2 out of 4. I don't know.
What the hell? Man, showkeeper.
We got the request, so I don't know. I'm just trying to
Keep
I'm
your
just
shit
trying
to
to
the
apply.
Robin, I swear to God,
Take
if you
the
take your
shirt
shirt
off.
off, I'm leaving the studio.
I'm Portuguese, bro. I got a lot of chest hair. I'm just
Ain't
letting y'all know
nobody
that
trying to
right
see,
now. I don't know if y'all ready for that.
Oh shoot, we're
What
just
is-
here to have fun.
What is this channel turned into? Okay, Andrew.
Somebody in your chat is calling me, is it discount Andrew Tate or wish.com Andrew Tate?
Hey,
I'll take it. That's fine.
Jimmy said, let's see those man nips. Stop it. Seth,
I should probably put the shirt back on too. There we go.
do you
There you go.
do you think this Mt.Gox thing is overblown? Are people going to run to sell, or do you think we should be worried? And like, if you have a price target in mind, if let's say majority of this gets dumped on the market, you can go ahead and share that with us as well.
Yeah, so I don't think it's overblown, but I think it does have to. It is going to be this thing that happens in slow motion. Obviously, they're not going to market dump because they don't want to create sell pressure, right? They would be entirely irresponsible to do so. So the trustees that are handling the Mt.Gox distribution of making those investors, those creditors whole, they're not going to just dump everything on the market. They can't do that. Shout out to Erica Wall. She's actually just a blogger. She just talks about Bitcoin part time and is a full time catfish. Only Eric's going to get that, by the way. So. That's that little shout out there. But as far as there being immediate sell pressure, no, I don't think there's going to be immediate sell pressure. And yeah, a trustee can't do that. That's like against, like they wouldn't be chosen as a trustee if they did create that kind of market sell pressure. But it is going to be something that kind of, I think it does just hemorrhage just a little bit slowly, as much as they're willing to like cut into that disbursement into the market as they're making these creditors whole. So I think we are going to see sell pressure. It's just going to happen at the rate at which the trustee allows those creditors to be made whole. So I don't think it's overblown. I just think it's going to happen in a way that's different from how most people are expecting. Not all at once, but it's not like it's not going to happen at all. These creditors want to be made whole, and in some cases, they're just going to have to sell. To think that 137,000 Bitcoin won't get sold, I think is, it's just foolish. Some of it's going to get sold. A significant portion, just not right away.
Agree.
Yeah, but also for them to, whoever it was that you said calculated out the percentage that it would drop, that's actually, there's no way that person calculated that, and I'll tell you why. They would have had to have calculated that as if they knew where the Bitcoin was getting sold. I think a lot of this will not be sold live. I think it'll be OTC deals, I guess is what I'm saying. So that's not going, because they don't want to dump the market. Obviously, they're trying to continue to stay in the game, most likely as well. So I would be surprised to see an actual number that would work out, because realistically, if they wanted to, they could dump the entire market, and it would be a lot more percent of a move than that if it was all on a centralized exchange.
That's interesting. I think it's a little overblown. They're not going to release every single Bitcoin to everyone at the same time. And it's like, you've held it for 8 years. You see BlackRock coming in. You see all these companies coming in, institutions, VC funds. Everyone's coming into Bitcoin. And I think a lot more people are going to want to hold on to their Bitcoin than people give credit for. All right, let's move on to some NFT news. We have an article pulled up here on my laptop. This is from Crypto Potato. Over $100 million worth of NFTs have been stolen over the past year. Between phishing, scam projects, stolen and plagiarized NFTs, market manipulation, and rug pulls, the total value of financial crime connected to NFT trading adds up to over $100 million, with an average of $300,000 for every instance of this monkey business. So far, July of this year has been the most profitable month for cyber criminals, with over 4,600 NFTs stolen. And I think I had one more thing down here. No, I did not. So I want to ask Keeper first. If you didn't know, Keeper did launch, was it your thing or your channel, Debate Crypto?
Well, it's myself and Blockchain Crusader.
Okay,
it's Danger
cool.
Close Alpha, yeah.
Danger Close Alpha. You guys launched it from top to bottom. So you went through that whole process. What can secondary marketplaces do? What can project founders do? And what can people do to prevent further phishing scams, rug pulls, people losing money? And how do we bring this number down?
Education. We'll start off on the front end. Shout out to Crusader. He had never written a smart contract before, and he dove in. It was going to cost us a ton of money to hire some devs. And one of the things that the devs kept talking about was, all of the troubles and the problems and the security issues that you could have if you didn't hire them. Well, it's just like anything else. Miguel said, you know what, I think I can do this. I'm a programmer. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to get myself educated. I'm going to figure out what are the problems or the could be problems. And I will tell you, knock on wood, we have not had those problems because he got himself educated. Now, on the other side of that is the retail user, the buyer. What usually ends up happening, and no one ever wants to admit that they did something stupid, but what normally ends up happening is someone will click on a malicious link because they thought that they had an email that was legit, a text message that was legit. They're on a site that is a total phishing site, but it looked like the actual website. And so a lot of times it is something as simple as that. I also think, though, that the centralized platforms need to do a better job. I will give OpenSea one shout out. We had a fake project launch within, I don't even know, an hour or two of that happening. They were able to take it down when we sent them a message. So I will give them a shout out on that. Wow. But what happens is, there's so many different fakes out there. On Discord, for example, you can use the same exact name as somebody else, and so they just jump in and out and act like they're other people. You just really have to do your due diligence and pay attention to the details. It's the details and education that are going to matter in the long term.
Now, Seth, you know, you have a background in technicals, right? Or in the tech world. We know bots. Bots are on Twitter. Bots take over. Bots. How do we fix that? We see Discord servers being taken over and links being posted. Is there something these platforms can implement, OpenSea can implement, Discord can implement, or are we just going to have to live with this for the time being?
Let's be perfectly clear. Automation is a feature, not a bug. But that's why the internet, even though it may be largely dead, that's why it looks so thriving and alive. We just we look at some of the stuff that we like to interact with on a regular basis, like Discord, Twitter, some of the other services, especially Telegram as well, because it was just it was open to bots and automation much earlier. But we're the better part of a decade into the automation of Web 2.0. And Brain Shambles, who's in the studio with us right now, she said something on stage yesterday, which was great, which is that we're kind of in Web 2.5. We're not quite in Web 3.0. I totally agree. I totally subscribe to that idea. That Web 3.0, that the bridge to Web 3.0 is that we have to figure out how to get into much more voluntary participation and get rid of some of that automation so we don't have bots that are executing smart contracts, right, and working against our interests on blockchain, right, within blockchains. But the genie's out of the bottle. We kind of can't do that yet. And to answer your question, I don't know what it would take for us to undo the 10 years of automation in Web 2.0. And, you know, all the habits that we've had in Web 2.0, marketers, business people, folks who depended on things like Facebook Pixel and the Instagram ads, which is a huge part of most people's current, even brick and mortar businesses. How do we undo all of that going into Web 3.0 and maintain the level of creature comfort that we all expect from the internet experience? I don't see it happening anytime soon. And if we did clear out every bot everywhere and all the automations, the internet would feel kind of lonely. So I don't even know if we would like it.
Can I give a quick shout out? Shout out to the DCA community. The one other thing that I will say, I think I saw Juggernaut maybe put it into the chat. He said, have a great community around you as well. And one of the really important things that I will say is that if you do have a community that is learning along with you, it's just like two brains are better than one. There are a lot of opportunities for the communities to be able to step forward and help others in the community, because it's hard, right, for Miguel and I to be paying attention every single second, every day. That's why you get things like mods and Discords and the community just paying attention and looking out for each other. So I want to shout out to the DCA community. You guys have been great with that. So just wanted to say thank you. That is a really important part as well, keeping people educated and being a part of within a community.
And just to piggyback on that sentiment, you know, when Rob and I first launched the channel, our thing was we want to build a tight-knit, together, positive community. And we're starting to see that as we're growing. And to what Keeper is saying, if we all look out for each other and we all have each other's backs, that better of a chance that no one's going to get scammed, no one's going to get money taken from them. And on that topic, Robin, I want to ask you really quick, is it on the user to make sure they do their due diligence, or can OpenSea and the founders do more to help people protect their money?
Yeah, obviously with education, you get power, and basically if you can learn how to defend yourself from these attacks, is essentially what it is. There's a dichotomy here. There's two ends of the spectrum when it comes to scams, bots, and centralization. With more centralization comes more security. And, you know, you got to be careful what you ask for. If you wanted the removal of bots, you're basically giving security to the institutions who basically control the game. And so if you are looking for no bots, no scams, then you're going to look like Bank of America. You're gonna look like something.
Don't you bank with Bank of America?
Yeah, I do, and that's why I want no parts of it.
Okay, hold on, guys, real quick. Seth and Keeper, do not bring savings accounts up in front of Robin. He will implode.
Dude,
so just a disclaimer.
That was an epic.
That's okay. I mean, a savings account is probably one of the more worthless things in life that you could have right now. So
you just won Robin's affection.
Savers
It's a
or
fact.
losers.
There it is.
It's a fact. You're actively losing at least 10% with your money sitting there, and they're actively making money off of you setting your funds there. So
I think that's one of the few things where both Robert Kiyosaki and Dave Ramsey agree, right? The savers or losers. That's just not. I mean, it doesn't matter what your economic or financial theory is. I think the cat's out of the bag, been out of the bag for a while now, right? Like, if you're doing any, I mean, even holding on to stables in a dormant account is probably a better option than a savings account.
yeah.
Here's my take. Here's my take on the whole. Is it up to the user or is it up to the platform? It's up to the user. Okay. Stop trying to strike it rich right away by clicking on a link that says, "Oh, only 500 free NFT mints right now if you go mint." Stop with that. It's a mentality thing. I talk about on the show all the time. When the government steps in, tries to tell us how to spend our money, where we can put our money, you can't. Oh, don't put Bitcoin in 401ks because it's too dangerous. Leave that up to me. It's my money. So same thing. And that goes back to what Keeper said again, community. If you have a strong, tight-knit community and someone goes into a Discord and hacks it and there's a phishing, it's like, hey, community, what do you guys think? Is this real? No, everyone talks among each other, you come to a consensus. And when there's one set of eyes on something versus 100, 200, 300, 1,000, we're protected that much better. So be more vigilant. Do your research. Don't jump at the first thing you see as far as a free mint or this and that. So I think us as users, if we want the government to keep their hands off of what we're trying to do, we have to show and prove that we are responsible. We're not trying to chase the fast dollar and mint something when it sounds fishy. I can't tell you how many emails I get every single day. Oh, you have to re-verify your account, or we need this. Guys, this is common stuff. It's going to keep happening, and you just got to know. If you're not sure, if you're not 100% sure, wait. Ask questions, find out, reach out to your community. 9 out of 10 times you will get the correct answer. Okay, I want to talk about Skybridge. So the mooch, Anthony Scaramucci, and we want to swap over to, there we go. Skybridge Capital founder on why BlackRock's interest in Bitcoin is a big deal. Recently, if you're not familiar with Mr. Scaramucci, he was the White House Director of Communications for a whole 2 weeks under President Donald Trump. He is also the founder and managing partner of Skybridge Capital, big Bitcoin people. And he shared his thoughts on the partnership between BlackRock and Coinbase. There's a couple quotes here I want to read. This is a quote from Scaramucci. People are not paying close enough attention to what BlackRock is doing. If Larry Fink and his team are setting up a product related to Bitcoin, that is telling you that there is institutional demand out there. Whether they have a positive, negative opinion on Bitcoin, it doesn't matter. There's an expression back at Goldman Sachs in the early 90s, feed the ducks. If the ducks want Bitcoin, set up a product and feed the ducks. And so I think this is a huge thing that's just not being expounded upon us as much as it should be. So, Seth, I've said on this channel, BlackRock...
Turns off again.
BlackRock dipping its toes into Bitcoin has killed the entire ethos of Bitcoin and why Satoshi created it. Are you in line with that statement, or do you think this is a net positive?
Dave, 1,000%. Absolutely. Satoshi's white paper reads as one part sort of libertarian manifesto, one part economic theory, and then one part technical white paper. It's not strictly speaking just a white paper, and a lot of it really does have to do with what you're saying, a mistrust of some of these custodians, some of these larger institutions, and then the Genesis block has that message baked in, Chancellor on brink of second bailout, echoing the news at the time that was taking place in England. That was headline news after the 2008 economic meltdown. Those of us who are old enough to remember what that felt like, having the economy totally implode and having, no matter what you were doing, everybody was affected eventually. I think a lot of us were on board when we finally found Bitcoin and we're like, oh yeah, things were really dire. There were serious problems created by some of these centralized players, people who get the government bailouts, people who have the golden parachute on, no matter what's going on in the rest of the world, and who will happily use us as exit liquidity repeatedly, over and over and over again. They come back to peddle us their nonsense derivatives and their fake promises of yield. All the while, the dollar inflates. All the while, everything that we've worked for becomes worthless. All the while, the gap widens between the haves and the have-nots, the middle class totally disappearing in our lifetime. Like, we're seeing this. It's happening in slow motion, but we've had front row seats to this our entire lives. And Satoshi pretty much made it clear. You know who the culprit is? It's the centralized banks, dummies. Wake up. Have something that's a hard currency, and we could probably maybe stand a shot at fixing this. Maybe. It's still a long shot, but Bitcoin actually does fix that. People who say that Bitcoin fixes everything, no. I don't know what you're smoking. No, it doesn't fix everything, but it might fix the hard money problem, and it might put the bankers and the centralized lenders and the centralized finance barons back on their heels long enough for us to maybe, possibly, not fall into serfdom in our lifetime. Maybe. But yeah, I agree.
I will say, I know earlier we were talking about our disgust when it comes to Bank of America and myself personally.
Please, no.
And
please.
so I have pulled up our YouTube short. If Rocco, we got the audio on my laptop.
You know,
You're good?
hold on real quick. I want to give a shout out to Rocco because this dude is the money. We throw so much stuff at him last minute on the fly, and this dude never says anything. He just makes it happen. Rocco.
You know what he does say? He has a disgust against your barbecue
chicken pizza.
Barbecue chicken pizza. All right. Yeah. So pulling up my laptop here. You got sound on, right? All right.
Oh God.
So here's a. No. And is the B on? Or never mind. No, we're not gonna get. We're not. Like,
you know, my kids, when they saw this, my daughter's like, she kept asking me, "Can I see the video when Robin turns into the Hulk?"
I was so mad.
This dude literally probably.
But guys, check out our YouTube shorts. We got a lot of entertaining clips, and it's pretty fun there.
Yeah.
So
now, Keeper, I'm gonna
Yes,
ask
sir.
you the same question I asked Mind Your Biz. Is Bitcoin dead? BlackRock getting in? Are you a little more on the bullish side, or are you along with what Seth said?
Oh, I'm definitely not on the. So there's two ways to look at it. When the institution, we need the institutional investment as far as to probably get us long term to some of the numbers that you've heard people talking, but it's a blessing and a curse. I think the curse there is that we are moving more towards a centralized banking economy, just like we currently have, right? And that for me stinks. I hate the fact we have a fractional reserve banking system right now, and if you don't know how it works, ultimately they have to hold a fraction of what they actually on paper show that they have. They then turn around with your money, lend it out to people between 3 and 12%, and then if you back to the savings account thing, and then you get what? 0.01% for you loaning them your money. And here's the best part. You go into the bank and you say, yes, I'd like to take out $30,000. Well, there, Mr. Keeper, it's going to need to be about 3 to 4 business days because we need to order your money. And it's like, wait a minute. I am loaning you money for you to loan out, make exorbitant amounts of money off of it. But then when I want my money, I can't get it. We cannot have that moving into Bitcoin. We cannot have that moving into Bitcoin. And so there's got to be some sort of and part of the beautiful thing with Bitcoin is that it's currently, and I think always will be, decentralized. However, the more and more and more these massive institutions get in, they're able to do things like manipulate the news media. BlackRock owns almost every single news institution and media outlet out there.
They own the world.
They do. And what can they do with that? If you can control the flow of information, you can control just about everything. Same thing with money. So if they're able to not only control the flow of information, but then they're also able to step in and take control of the money, i.e. grabbing massive amounts of Bitcoin, we have a problem. And we already have this problem happening in the form of CBDCs. We need to tread lightly, tread carefully. I don't think that we want to push too hard for this massive institutional money, because this massive institutional money brings forth a lot of problems as well. So I'm a little leery.
Amen to that. And just to kind of finish up the show, there's one more question I want to ask. But before I do, guys, remember, The U.S. government went to BlackRock in 2008 to help and asked BlackRock to help bail companies out.
Yep.
The government is in the back pocket of Larry Fink and BlackRock. Keep that in mind. Now, to end the show, Jackson Hole, Jerome Powell. Are we going to see an Arthur Burns style Fed where inflation starts coming down and they stop or even reduce the rates? Or are we going to see Paul Volcker where even if inflation starts coming down, they keep bumping up, bumping up, bumping up, bumping up? If you can kind of share your thoughts, what you feel that it's going to happen. Maybe think about what Jerome Powell has done in the past. In 2018, when he started hiking rates, Donald Trump brought him into the White House and essentially yelled at him, does what Trump does. And Jerome Powell stopped hiking rates and started reducing them.
And also,
is that going to happen?
And also, what are the implications of the rate hikes? Is it gonna be pigeonholed to the legacy financial markets, Wall Street, or is it gonna bleed over into crypto markets? Is crypto gonna be a safe haven? Because Bitcoin does essentially remedy the problems of inflation, and what the Fed is trying to battle is a debasement of money. That's essentially what it is. And we have the fix. It's here. It's in front of you. Like you're over here trying to manipulate interest rates and all this jazz and quantitative easing, and it's all a big game by powerful people that have the wrong intentions at hand. I mean, right now the intentions are to get reelected, and they're doing everything they can to throw money around and debase what you have in your savings account by pushing their agenda. And so I don't know. Is this interest rate and is that our policies that we're implementing, are these gonna bleed into crypto? Because there's been a big correlation. NASDAQ and Bitcoin, man, they've been following the same trend. They might not move dollar for dollar or percentage points.
What are your
big
thoughts,
swings,
Seth?
yeah.
Seth, what are your thoughts?
First off, I want to just do a little sidebar here and encourage chat. Share this link live right now. Bring Sin City Crypto to its all-time high of live viewers. Do it now.
Let's go.
Hey, we had 101. Well, you know what? We're at 101 viewers.
No, we're gonna end it. We're gonna end it.
We're gonna have a party. We're gonna have a party.
We'll end with the club. We will end with the club. I want Seth's opinion.
Seth's ready to party. He's got no shirt on.
Seth, he will be ready.
I smell great.
He'll be okay in about 5 minutes.
He does. I'm telling you.
Seth, are you okay?
It's like lavender and like coconut body spray, man.
Also,
it's delicious.
Huge shout out. Brokioshi just gifted 5 memberships. If you don't have that thing, it's like allow gifted memberships. Make sure you put it on. Crypto Billy, also thank you for the super chat. Why You Loud also gifted 5 memberships. Why I love our community, man. They're givers. And then Marky Mark, $20 super chat. Thank you for the Sunday live stream. We love our community. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Also, Bullish Kenny G, club time. That is my #1 hater, but I love him. He said, David, break out the dad moves. We will end with the club,
Guys,
I promise.
wait till you see the dad moves.
We'll end.
Wait till you see the dad moves.
Seth, Jackson Hole. What are your thoughts on the Fed? What is he going to do? Are we going to see the markets melt?
Was that a Freudian slip there, CBDCs? I mean, because it's inevitable, right? That's what this is all leading towards, right? This is all priming, right? And it's all pricing, saying like, well, you guys see what we're doing for you. You see how important we are in your life. So clearly you're going to accept a CBDC. I think you just kind of like, you gave us a spoiler right there, Dave. I really do think you did. So all this stuff, it's all for show. It's all theater.
Like my wife.
We're at that point where we're going to get to the CBDC. That's going to be proposed as the ultimate solution to all the problems that are going on right now. Why? Because QE is easier if all you got to do is press print in a smart contract. QT is easier if all you got to do is press burn in a smart contract. But the giant fake, the giant rug pull of all that is clearly that they're going to be able to do the sanctioning like the U.S. Treasury has with OFAC and the Tornado Cash smart contracts. They're going to be able to do that at the smart contract level, the issuance level, control everything. So it's got nothing to do with easing people's ability to buy necessities. It's got nothing to do with CPI, got nothing to do with helping the American people. It's got everything to do with leading more towards control. So all the stuff that's happening with Jerome Powell's press release, all that's happening in Jackson Hole, like, I hate to be insensitive, but I really can't be bothered. I really don't care because it's obvious what their long game is. It is the CBDC. They're trying to set up CBDC as the ultimate solution. And worse, they're trying to get us to beg for it. So all this stuff leading up to that point at which they put the CBDC forth, like, okay, finally, we got it. They're trying to get the person who's living paycheck to paycheck to scream, oh, God, yes, finally. You got what you're proposing what I need. You can give me airdrops. The entitlement programs here in the United States, they can just be sent to my wallet really easily. Yeah, just too bad you can't go buy like whatever, a Red Bull with your CBDC because that's blacklisted now. Because
Seth,
just
you and I are literally on the same page. I am so against
You got a shirt on.
CBDCs. I am so against CBDCs.
Not on the same page. Just saying.
You can change that.
Yes, Keeper.
You do have the technology. You can take the, I mean.
Keeper, share your thoughts. What do you think moving forward we're going to see from the Fed? And if you want to expound on CBDCs, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, sure. So, with the Fed, the thing that I get really frustrated with is that they play this game when they come on camera and act as if things are a surprise to them. Like, we didn't anticipate this or this, whatever the case may be. These people are not, unfortunately, I'd like to say that they were stupid. That would make this easier because then, stupidity could at least be forgiven. But it's intellectually dishonest. No, right. They knew when they started printing money that this was going to be a problem. And here's what happens. So when we get to the point that we're at right now and inflation is absolutely rampant, the only way that we're going to be able to pull out of this is to essentially crush the US dollar. Well, isn't that convenient? Because if they then have created the problem, and then they can hand over the solution. And wait a minute, that solution gives the U.S. government more control over the U.S. populace. Wow. This is just so convenient, but we didn't know. I mean, like, we could not have foreseen what would happen. Yeah, you print trillions and trillions of dollars. You put more money into the economy than you ever have before, and we're supposed to think that the U.S. dollar is not going to lose value. You could explain that to a 10-year-old. And so, what my frustration is more the dishonesty behind it. I am worried, however, with the central bank digital currencies, how they're going to use them. I actually talked to CryptoFace about this, and he kind of brushed it off as if he didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. I think that it is. I think that the point that you see the government masking people mercilessly, telling them to take a shot that they either do or don't want, but telling them to put something in their body. We're looking at control issues here. Now we're moving that control into money, the number one thing that allows you to live your life. Now they're saying, we can put a smart contract on that money. We can do exactly what Seth just said and blacklist Red Bull or whatever company or whatever product they don't want you purchasing that day. Maybe you get your tax return and, tax return money can only be spent with this company, and this company, or it can only be spent for this, and this. And the problem is they are continuing to get more control. And so it's going to be a problem. It is scary. I am praying for the U.S. people, one of those being myself. I actually said this morning, the point that we get a social credit system in the United States, and I'm saying it here live on camera. Well, not only that, I will be exiting the United States of America. I fought, right? United States Marine. I love my country, but I will not live in China. And so if that's where we are headed, I will be finding an exit stage left.
What country are you going to?
I haven't figured it out yet. I will tell you that Sweden apparently was a great place to be, and I have Swedish heritage.
I've lived in Sweden. Don't.
Listen, I don't know. Whoever's going to make the decision to stand up for the people, I think that's where I will be looking to go if we get there.
If you think the U.S. would be bad, the Sweden's worse. Trust me on that one.
It definitely wasn't during the fog round the world, as we call it on Debate Crypto. I will tell you that.
Well, the scenery mix is Robin, real quick.
Here's the thing.
Hold on, wait. I got a question too. Can CBDCs and stablecoins coexist? And then share your thoughts.
They will exist. I'll put it that way. Okay, because you're gonna have a CBDC. That's inevitable. It's coming, whether you like it or not. Just what is it gonna look like? How much privacy are they gonna invade? How much control the government have? So all you can do is hope and pray that the governing bodies, the branches of government that control the CBDCs, will not be too controlling. And so, for me, Okay, and one last thing on that question. Your CBDCs and your stable coins and crypto, hopefully you can exit the CBDC market. So even if you do get CBDCs, say in the form of a tax return, as you said, I would imagine that if you don't straight up ban crypto, you can sell your CBDCs and go to another chain. So hopefully you do have
That's
a free
wishful
market.
thinking, my friend.
Yeah, hopefully you have a free market. But I mean, at the end of the day, you would have to essentially ban crypto.
You just put the word central and free market in the same sentence, Robin.
I know. I'm just out here going on a limb, just being hopeful. I just want to say with the Fed interest rate, the federal funds interest rate, Jerome Powell, what's going on? There is a guy next to me with looking sweet right there.
Sunday special, baby.
There it is.
I love it.
Sunday fun day. We're going to hit the pool after this, guys. If y'all want to come hang out with us at the pool, you're in Las Vegas, jump in our Discord. We will give you all the details. Now, if you haven't joined our Discord, that is a community run, started by Marky Mark. Was it Marky Mark, right?
Marky Mark.
Yeah, Marky Mark started it out. So make sure you join over there. I will just end the show on.
You're not in the show. I'm in the show.
Well,
So
I'm
hurry
going
up
to
and
end.
speak
I'm
your
going to end
points.
my
Okay,
my point here. I'm going
okay.
to say that what is this interest rate hike? It basically, they printed, you said they printed a ton of money. They printed $4.5 trillion. They more than 3x the supply of circulating dollars here in the United States. And basically, you just injected tons of money into the market. And one thing that we are equipped with here that we understand is basic tokenomics. If you're watching this show, I'm sure you're aware of it. And if we all know what would happen if you 4 times or 3 times the amount of Bitcoin in circulation, obviously you would debase the currency. So here we have empowered ourselves with knowledge on how circulating supply works, and how we got to this position was by the injection of capital and the money printing. And what they're doing with the interest rate is trying to put the brakes on the economy. Because why? Because they injected tons of money into the economy, so there's more money moving around, and so in turn you're seeing more spending and interest rates, or the inflation has gone up. And so what they're trying to do is basically crash us into a recession, so that way the inflation isn't so apparent, and then slowly they're debasing your money. And about a year or 2 years from now, when the interest rates go down, or when the inflation goes down, you can be like, oh, everything's back to normal, except for you still have no buying power.
And I will end it on this. Remember, a CBDC means you will have a direct account directly tied to the central bank. And so that gives them the power to do as they please, to hike up personal interest rates on just your account, to restrict where you can spend your money. And this is going to affect the lower and middle class, people that receive monthly benefits from the government, people that take welfare, people that get child support, people that get food stamps, people that get tax returns, that you literally wait for February to come around to get that big chunk of money to spend on a vacation for their family, to spend to upgrade their home, whatever the case may be. Those are the people that's going to hurt the most. This is why it is so important to remember why Bitcoin was created, the vision Satoshi had. And remember, guys, it's not always just about win Lambo. It's much deeper than that. With that being said, I'd like to thank our 2 very special guests, Mind Your Biz and Crypto Keeper. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come impart your knowledge and wisdom and pectoralis majoralis to our community. Guys, please, I beg you, go support these gentlemen and their channels. They're doing great things in the crypto space. That's all we ask of you as a community. We will do all the hard work. They will come on the show. Go support them. Subscribe. With that being said, on behalf of me, Robin, Rocco, Keeper, Mind Your Biz, Shambles, we thank you guys so much for joining us on this Sunday. Make sure you come back Monday at 10:30 a.m. Vegas time, Pacific Standard Time, for our daily live show. With that being said,
Open up the club. Let's
open
go.
up the club. Let's end this sucker. Let's go.
Where the dad moves at?
What?
Don't, you're out of the camera. You can't even see you.
Video camera. You know what's funny? This is literally all he does. He puts his hat down. You can't see his eyes.
Do you
and he
need
does-
more moves? Do you need more moves? This is all you need,
more
baby.
moves? Love you guys. We'll see you Monday. many views did we get up to?
You had 100 and something.
Dum 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 dum.